Welcome to part 2. This video will be a complete walkthrough of the last layer. We're going to cover every situation you'll encounter while solving your cube. With these videos, the website, and practice, you'll be able to solve a Rubik's Cube in less than 2 minutes. Now the algorithms for the last layer are a little more complicated, but keep in mind that you're going to be rearranging that last layer to where you need it and not disturbing the first 2 layers you just completed. If you make a mistake, and you will make mistakes, don't be too hard on yourself. Just start over again. I've started over countless of times. I basically failed my way to success in solving a Rubik's Cube. Let's begin. Now once you've completed the first 2 layers, we're going to turn the cube over so the yellow now becomes the up face. The yellow will remain the up face for the remainder of the solve. Now on the last layer there's 4 possible patterns of the last layer edges that you might see. 1, there's already going to be a cross there. If there is, then you move on to step 2. Pattern number 2. The algorithm to make the cross from this design is front, up, right, up prime, right prime, front prime. And there's our cross. Pattern number 3. To form the cross with this pattern, the algorithm is front, right, up, right prime, up prime, front prime, and you form the cross. Pattern 4 is a combination of the pattern 2 algorithm and the pattern 3 algorithm. If you perform the pattern 2 algorithm, you'll make the pattern 3, then perform the pattern 3 algorithm, form the cross. If you do the pattern 3 algorithm first, you'll end up forming pattern 2, then do the pattern 2 algorithm, and you'll form the cross. It's like this. Let's start with pattern 2. We do front, up, right, up prime, right prime, front prime. That makes pattern 3. So then you do front, right, up, right prime, up prime, front prime, and you have the cross. Now, if you start with pattern number 3, the front, right, up, right prime, up prime, front prime, and you turn your cube, you've got pattern number 2 there. So then you do the pattern 2 algorithm of front, up, right, up prime, right prime, front prime, and you form the cross. Now, on to permuting the last layer corners. Now, after we've made the cross, what we want to do is we want to get the last layer corners in the correct spot. Now on this one we can see there's 2 blues on this side, so we need blue orange over here, blue red over here. The greens are on this side and we need green red and green orange. So if you're lucky enough after forming the cross that you already have the last layer corners in the correct spot. If you don't, it's going to look something, one of these two situations where, here's the blues. We need an orange on this side, a red on this side, and that's in the correct spot. Here's the green side. We need red over here and orange down here. So these two have to be switched. And the algorithm for that is left, up prime, right prime, up, left prime, up prime, right, up 2, and now everything is where it should be. Red and blue in this corner, orange and blue over here, orange and green, red and green. Another possibility is you have the blues on this side. Let's get that over to the blues. But we have the red blue over here where we need red, blue, orange. We have orange blue over here where we need red blue. We have orange green where we need red green. And we have red green where we need orange green. So we have to switch these two sides and these two sides. So what you're going to do is you're going to do that algorithm twice. But the first time you're going to leave off the last U2, because by leaving off that last U2, that gets you in a position to repeat the algorithm and you'll be solved. So let's go with left, up prime, right prime, up, left prime, up prime, right, and then we do it again, left, up prime, right prime, up, left prime, up prime, right, and now we have green and red here, green and orange here, orange and blue, red and blue. After getting the corners in the correct spot, the next step is getting all the yellow squares face up. Now, there's 8 possible combinations. The most desirable is you have all 9 yellows face up and your cube is solved. If that happens, it's rare, but it does happen. If it happens, just accept it and have one of your best times ever. If all 9 yellows are face up and it's not solved, you're just going to have to move some edge pieces around. Now the other 7 patterns look like this. Pattern number 1, it's going to be 3 corners that the yellow is on the top layer facing out. You want to hold the cube where the side with no yellows is on your left. And the pattern to get all the yellow face up is right prime, up prime, right, up prime, right prime, up 2, right, and up 2. Sometimes you'll need that up 2, sometimes you won't. But that gets all 9 face up. Pattern number 2. Now pattern number 2 resembles pattern number 1, but if you keep the side with no yellows on your left, the yellow square facing the front is on the right side, whereas in pattern 1 it was on the left side. So the algorithm for pattern 2 is right, up, right prime, up, right, up 2, right prime, and this time we don't need the up 2. Pattern number 3. We have two non-yellows in the upper left and the upper right, and the two yellow squares are they're facing out the back. So the algorithm is the pattern 1 algorithm minus the last U2, and then immediately perform pattern 2. So that is going to go like this: right prime, up prime, right, up prime, right prime, up 2, right, and this sets us up for pattern 2 with a right, up, right prime, up, right, U2, right prime, and up 2. And that gets all the yellow face up. And pattern 4 resembles pattern 3 in that on the top layer there are two non-yellows in the back left and the back right, but unlike pattern 3, the yellows are not coming out the back side, they're actually coming out the right and left sides. So what you do is you orient your cube where the non-yellows are on the left side, and you will perform the pattern 2 algorithm and then the pattern 1 algorithm. And that goes right, up, right prime, up, right, up 2, right prime, up 2, then the pattern 1 algorithm of right prime, up prime, right, up prime, right prime, up 2, right, up 2. Pattern 5 has two non-yellows, one in the forward left and the back right. There is one yellow coming out of the back right to the right side, and on the front left is coming out the front. If by chance you look at your cube and the yellows are coming out the back side and the left side, just orient your cube 180 degrees and you've got it. So the algorithm is a modified pattern 2 with the last move U, not U2, and then pattern 1. And that is right, up, right prime, up, right, U2, right prime, up, then pattern 1, right prime, up prime, right, up prime, right prime, up 2, right, and you might only need one turn rather than the 2. Pattern number 6. You've made the cross, and on the four corners are non-yellow, and on the left side you have the two yellows on the front and back, and on the right face you have a yellow coming out the front and a yellow facing the back. If you look at your cube and it's not like that, orient your cube so that the yellows are on the left, the right front, and the right rear. And that, to get all the yellows up, it is going to be, it's a modified pattern 1 with the last move U, not U2, and then pattern 1 again. So it is right prime, up prime, right, up prime, right prime, up 2, right, and up. Then right prime, up prime, right, up prime, right prime, up 2, right, and you may only need an up, a prime. Pattern number 7 resembles pattern number 6, as in the 4 corners are non-yellow, but you have 2 yellows that are coming out on the left side and 2 yellows coming out on the right side. Again, if you look at your cube and they're coming out the front and the back, then just rotate your cube 1 time. And the pattern, the algorithm for pattern 7 is a modified pattern 2 without the second U2, and then pattern 2 again. So we have right, up, right prime, up, right, U2, right prime, and then a right, up, right prime, up, right, up 2, right prime, permuting the last layer edges or getting them in the correct spot. There are 5 possible patterns. 1, all the edges are correctly placed and your cube is solved. The other 4 look like this. Pattern number 1. I'm going to rotate the edges clockwise. So this one has to go here, this one here, and this one here. Now I hold my cube where the solve side is facing me, and the algorithm is right prime, up, right prime, up prime, right prime, up prime, right prime, up, right, up, right 2, and your cube is solved. Pattern number 2, rotating the edges counterclockwise. This one has to go here, and this one over here. Again, the solve side is facing me, and the pattern is R2, up prime, right prime, up prime, right, up, right, up, right, up prime, right. And your cube is solved. Pattern number 3. You have to switch the edges across from each other. Like this case, red is over orange, orange is over red, green is over blue, blue is over green. So you would do an algorithm for pattern 1 or pattern 2, re-examine your cube, it'll look like pattern 1 or pattern 2, and then do that algorithm. So let's do pattern 1. R prime, up, R prime, up prime, R prime, up prime, R prime, up, right, up, right 2, and now we have to do pattern 1 again, because this has to go clockwise. So it is right prime, up, right prime, up prime, right prime, up prime, right prime, up, right, up, right 2, and your cube is solved. Pattern 4. It's on pattern 4 you have these two edges that have to be switched, and then these two edges. Now, like pattern 3, you'll perform pattern 1 or pattern 2 algorithm. Let's examine your cube, and it'll look like pattern 1 or pattern 2. For this one, we'll do number 2, a pattern 2 algorithm, and it is R2, up prime, right prime, up prime, right, up, right, up, right, up prime, right, and now we have to do the algorithm for pattern 2 again. It's going to go counterclockwise. So it is R2, up prime, right prime, up prime, right, up, right, up, right, up prime, right, and your cube is solved. Now, I realize most of what we've learned with a speed cube, and some of you are probably wondering, and rightly so, can a Rubik's Brain cube actually be solved in under 2 minutes? So let me pull up my cube timer. Let's see here. Now, once I let go of the screen, the timer is going to start, and in order to stop the timer, I'll have to touch the screen again. So let's see how we do. Look over the cube a little bit, and okay. There's the green. There's red. There's our cross. Now for the corners. There's 2 of them. Okay, come on. 3 corners. And there's the 4 corners. There's our first layer. Now for the second layer. That should be 1 more here. There's the second layer. Now for this we have to form the cross on the bottom. We have the cross. Let's see. There's green. Okay, these 2 have to be switched around. And we have this algorithm. This algorithm, and we've solved the cube. Minute 42. That's actually my second best time with this cube. Keep in mind this is a Rubik's Brain cube, and it's about 6, almost 7 years old. So it's had a lot of wear and tear on it, as you can tell by the by the stickers. So you get a good cube, your time could be faster. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, let others know how you're progressing, how your times are going. I know I'd be interested in hearing it. Not trying to brag on myself, because I know there's plenty of people out there much faster than me, but I've got my solving times down to about 54, 55 seconds. So if there's enough interest, I might do an intermediate instructional video on how to solve a Rubik's Cube in under a minute. So once again,